Hey guys, this is me, just being honest, back again. Um, hey my YouTube followers, how are all of you? I hope you all are doing great. Um, as I told y'all before, I'm not just gonna be reporting things of what I eat, what restaurant I went to, or where I'm at. I'm also still on that same journey as where I started. For those who have been here from the beginning, it's basically me telling about my life, things I go through, giving someone some input in their own lives if you're going through it. If not, if you know someone who's going through it, helping them get through it. We all are human. We go through things. So, a little bit about my relationship. I've been with this handsome man here for almost 9 months.
Hey y'all, Mike.
Um, he came into my life where he doesn't have any children, but I have six girls, two daughters, ages 27, 20, 16, 17, 13, 14. It's kind of hard, embarrassing for me in a way because
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say embarrassing. I would stick with it's kind of hard. It's difficult to be a single mom, you know, and still searching for love, trying to find yourself. Me being a young black male with no children, coming into a relationship where my lady has kids that are already active as preteens, teens, and young adults. It's a journey. It's a learning lesson. It's a stepping stool. You know, even with my lady, it's still the same. Learning her ways, learning from her. Teaching her my ways, and then incorporating that into a family that's already been developed. So it's a journey. It's difficult. It's not easy. It's not easy because they have their own ways. They've been trained and developed to be independent young women, and coming in as a male role model, rather a father figure. You know, I wouldn't say stepfather because unless stepfather, I think is an underlying statement because you're stepping in. You know they already have fathers, but you're being a male role model. So with that being said, it's hard, man. It's hard. It's hard trying to get young women to understand from a male's point of view, you know, and without being super masculine or super dominant, trying to be encouraging and understanding. It's very hard. But like I said, it's a journey that constantly changes on a day-to-day basis. It's a learning factor.
well, to add on to what he was saying and to start off what I was saying, it is embarrassing for me because as a single mother, and I'm in my 40s, you know, and I got kids in all categories. I have preteens, teens, and adults with children. So getting into relationships for me is hard. Most of the time nowadays they don't last long due to the fact is that I'm always engulfed in something with my kids. Like my kids are like extremely, you know, all over the planet in my life. It's hard for me. It's embarrassing when I say it's hard for me to do a date. It's hard for me to take a trip. It's hard for me to have an overnight stay at my companion's house. It's hard because my phone is consistently ringing. And it's not a bad thing until it's a bad thing. When kids are calling, just say, "Hey mom, how's it going? How are you doing? How you feeling? Everything's fine," or whatever. or you call your kids and you say, hey, how are things going? Did you eat? Did y'all clean up yet? Did you do your homework? Whatever have you. It's hard as hell when you're getting calls like someone is hurting someone, or your kids are not getting along, or because you're left as a single parent to deal with it by yourself. And I'm a single parent by choice because things with their fathers, and yes, I said fathers, did not work out. I am legally married to one of my children's fathers, but there was a lot of domestic violence situations. There was a lot of abuse, verbally and physically, in my relationships where I couldn't stick around because it was either my sanity or sit there and somebody's going to jail and somebody's going to hell. And I couldn't take it no more, so I walked away. Um, and then I noticed a pattern, you know, with this healing process that I sometimes meet the same man. You understand? Because all my relationships weren't physically abusive. Some were verbally, some were mentally, some were like just already checked out because being around me with 6 young children became exhausting. And I couldn't knock that person for not being there because it becomes exhausting to me, and I'm the mother. I always said, you get to walk away. I don't. I have to stay and be here and deal with it. There was a situation this morning where my oldest daughter, because as I said, I'm not home. I am in North Carolina. My oldest daughter got into a physical altercation with her baby father, and I hate the word baby father, her child's father. And he was just irate. They were talking about the past, and then you cheated and I cheated, whatever, and both of them got back in their feelings, and it led to a very domestically nasty verbal turning physical situation. And as a mother, it's hard as hell for me because I don't know if I've told y'all this before. I think I have. I am diagnosed with PTSD and I have anxiety, and I am a manic depressant. So dealing with these situations, and I'm not really a pill person, so I tend to try to deal with things on my own as far as in mentally train myself, discipline myself. You understand? Because I'm God's child first. So to pop a bunch of pills to try to make me feel better, it just isn't going to work. So with that being said, it's like dealing with my children and them going through different processes in life that I went through. You tend to not want your female children, when you're a female, going through what you went through with their fathers or in different relationships. And this morning I was so overwhelmed. I was so hurt. I was so frustrated. I was so angry because people don't get it sometimes. It's hard as hell being a parent and being the rational one and being the adult, and not stooping to the level of someone being ignorant. It's hard as hell for me. You understand? Because I'm used to fighting. Of course, when you're in relationships where you're always physically having to fight, it starts to train you where you become a fighter. You become the aggressor. So being 43 years old and having the children I have, and then also having 2 granddaughters, at times it gets very hard to still be the mature one in that factor because I don't want nobody to hurt my daughters. I don't want nobody to hurt my granddaughters. And when I'm not there in that moment when they're going through something, it drives me crazy because even though they're grown, I'm still the protector. Until God removes me off this earth, I'm still their protector. So it's hard, and at times, I say that to say this, at times with him in the beginning of our relationship, I was aggressive, for the better lack of a word, because I felt like he was doing things to hurt me and they were seeing that, and my objective of it was to be aggressive, but there was no winning there. You understand? Because it's like, you hurt me, I hurt you, where's the win? And I guess that's the maturity in me kicking in. And that, like I said, at times it's hard now because Rome wasn't built in a day. But at the same time, it's just like, these are parts of my life that I still want to share with y'all because There's a lot of shit that's still going on. It's just the fact that I try now to do my best. And when I get 5 minutes of happiness or 2 minutes of peace, to also record that as well, because I don't like to just show my negative. And, and like I said, this is like an open journal for me. You understand? Hopefully it touches somebody out there and it helps somebody. We all are going through something. To all the mothers out there, hell, all the single fathers out there, it is hard. This road is extremely hard. To all those that are stepping in people's lives with children, you understand? And you walking into children's lives that are grown or damn near grown. It's hard. It's hard doing that. You understand? Because you're coming into different personalities, and you don't know who's going to take to you, who's not going to take to you, who's going to be cool with you, who's not going to be cool with you, who's going to support your relationship with their parent and who's not.
But try.
He faces a lot of trials and tribulations for that, but I feel also it's my fault for what we display, not even we, what I display as their mother. You understand? Because like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day. So sometimes my temper does come out. And even if the door is closed, they're able to hear, if I'm yelling, or if I'm irate about anything. And it's hard as hell to work on it, but I'm still a work in progress. It's not that I ignore, the negative energy or the negative things I give out, regardless of what you feel someone is doing to you negative. It's always different ways to go about it. I just wish that now I was already to the point where I wouldn't have to come up here and talk about it. I can just talk about it in past tense and not present tense. So, still working at it, still going. This morning was very emotional for me. I was overwhelmed, beyond overwhelmed. I wanted to get back to New York so fast and whoop some ass. I'm not even going to lie. You understand? I wanted to hurt the person that was hurting my children. But I spoke to him and I calmed him down. Sometimes us as women, we need to learn how to de-escalate a situation, especially when there is a baby involved. We can't just go irate, even though we want to tear some up, We can't do that at times because we have to think about there's another human being that can't talk, can't walk, can't fight for themselves, can't protect themselves, that we as mothers have to protect.
Brothers, young men, grown men, there's a mutual way about going about things. My perspective, my tactic that I use is be less confrontational, try to be more understanding, and if you feel that you can't do it, there's always the number one option is to walk away. You every action doesn't deserve a reaction. So to the young dudes out there that's chiming in, hey man, if your shorty is poking the bear, walk away. You can voice your opinion, but do that as you transition in the way. Doesn't mean like leave her. If you feel like it's not gonna work, then just let that be known, and then y'all just part y'all ways and y'all go about it. Y'all go y'all way. If you feel it can work, walk away. There's always a chance to discuss things later on in that day or the next day or days after that, just to dilute the situation. All that putting hands on females, black men, that's not the way, bro. That's not the way, fam. We didn't probably, I'm sure there's people chiming in right now, brothers, that y'all didn't witness mothers and grandmothers, aunts, sisters, nieces, daughters being abused verbally, physically, mentally, emotionally. Hey, sisters, it's vice versa. If dude is not, he's not finding ways to de-escalate it. Hey, it's always a zip it up and walk away. There's no reason for it. If it need be, use your tactics. Call the police. Ain't that wrong? There's not no sucker thing to do. Don't think that's some like, oh, that's a scapegoat. That's some, I'm calling the ops. I'm being the sucker. No, I think that's just like, you need help because it gets to a point where words lead to physical violence, and the best thing to do is get somebody with authority in to neutralize that
Yep.
situation. If you can't dilute it yourself, but either party, male or female, young, old, however it goes, if you can't use it verbally, physical is not the way to do it. Walk away. I've done it several times throughout this relationship, and then came and spun back, and then we discussed it. I found what my flaws was, discussed that. She exposed that. I exposed what her flaws was, and as we are today on this platform, speaking about real life issues. But domestic is not the way to go.
Domestic violence is not okay.
It's not the way
It's
to go.
never okay. It's never going to be okay, regardless of what end it comes from.
Yeah.
Man or woman. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And as a mother and also as a domestic violence survivor, it's never okay with me.
Yeah.
I'm on this platform because I needed to come to my journal so I don't do something stupid.
Okay.
Pretty much. You understand? And I know right now I told y'all probably 7 different stories for my day. You understand? And I'm all over the place, but that's mentally how I feel. All over the place. So it's better for me to come here and have this platform to reach out than to go where I don't need to, because I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm not in the streets. You understand? I'm not a gangster. Nothing. But I am a mother who gives a damn. And if y'all see all of my videos that I have up here, y'all can see how hard it is for me to continue my positive journey and how hard it's been on this journey, where it started from. But I'm still a mother who gives a damn. I love my kids. I go to hell and back and back and back and back to hell.
Back again. Right.
So if any of you have advice, definitely comment below. Y'all know how this go. Thank you so much for giving me the platform to always come up here and speak freely. Because again, I'm just being honest. I love you, my YouTube family. Take care. Everyone have a blessed day. I hope that I helped someone today. I hope he helped someone today. You know, giving y'all a little bit more insight into my life and also into my new journey with him in my life and me in his life.
Yep.
So definitely reach out. Have a blessed evening. Peace.